Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to NMCAA's 50-year celebration featuring the Collective Us, an NMCAA podcast live. I'm Melissa Finley-Thompson, Engagement Manager here at NMCAA, but today I've been promoted to Stage Manager. I'm also here to thank the Dennos Museum and NMC, applause to the booth, for this gorgeous venue. And you all for supporting our organization, not only during the past 5 decades and beyond, but for joining us today in what promises to be an insightful, thoughtful, and engaging experience with our podcast hosts, Erica and Ryan.
This podcast is produced by Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency. The Collective Us, an NMCAA podcast, focuses on inspiring you through stories of those we've helped through our programming or by linking local resources to community members in need. Join us as we learn about the programs offered through NMCAA and how we touch people's lives every day.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the Collective Us. I'm Erica Austin.
And I'm Ryan Buck. We are your grateful hosts here today at the Dennos Museum and the Milliken Auditorium doing this podcast live for the first time.
Absolutely. We're so excited to be here celebrating today NMCAA's 50th anniversary with all of you.
Throughout the podcast, we are going to be hearing from 3 wonderful and distinct groups, starting with the awesome individuals we have around us today.
These topics that the panelists will be discussing include economic stability, educational opportunities, and housing support.
Not one to upset the apple cart or Erica, we're going to start with economic stability, as you rightly said.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get the show started. Hello, all of you lovely panelists. Thank you for being here. Let's start with first, a reminder of what our NMCAA mission is. Fostering positive change by providing opportunities that promote self-sufficiency, improving the quality of life, and building stronger, more connected communities. So if you wouldn't mind, each of you take a moment, introduce yourselves, and then also give us a quick 15 to 30 second answer on why you support NMCAA's mission. Whoever wants to go first.
Good afternoon. My name is Val Stone, and I was a former employee of the agency for almost 30 years. So in answering that question, I wholeheartedly encourage everyone to support the agency as I did. I saw a lot of changes in those 30 years, and it only got better every year with the kind of help that was needed by clients, call customers or neighbors, and they're still doing a wonderful job.
Thanks. My name is Leslie Knopp, and along with my husband Russ here, I'm the one of the owners of Comfort Keepers, serving Northwest Michigan. The part of the mission that really means a lot to me, I think, is the focus on self-sufficiency. People think of us as serving seniors, and we do, but really what we do is serve whole family systems, and that means what's happening in the whole family affects what's happening with that senior. And so the focus on self-sufficiency and all age groups, I think, is the answer to building a stronger future for all of us, and we're happy to be a part of it. So thanks.
Good afternoon. My name's Russ Knopp. I'm co-owner of Comfort Keepers with Leslie. I think the Community Action Agency does something under the radar that if you ask people on the street, what do? Most people can't say, but they're doing these things under the radar that improve people's lives. I think Oprah Winfrey had a quote that said people do the best they can with what they know and what they have. And what this organization does is help people know what's possible and how they can have a vision for their life. So that's why I'm passionate about it.
Thank you.
I'm Karen Burdick, and I'm a volunteer driver for Meals on Wheels. And I've been doing that for about 7 years. We talk about the self-sufficiency, and we also talk about dignity, and we talk about safety. And Meals on Wheels is an opportunity for our clients, our friends, to have healthy meals so that they are well fed and get nutrition. And even more, they get a wellness visit. So somebody's checking on them for their peace of mind, as well as for their family to know that their loved one is being monitored and cared for and having good food. So it's a great program in our community.
My name's Brittany Grzesiak. I'm the coordinator for the free tax preparation program at NMCAA. And the biggest part of NMCAA's mission that speaks to me is the connection component, the connection to the community, within the community. There's nothing more that humans want more than human connection, and I feel like we're a hive for that, connecting people to resources, programs, new ideas, opportunities, and to each other.
My name is Peachy Rentenbach, and I'm a board member. I've been a board member for over 10 years. The Community Action Agency strengthens human ecology. We offer fulfillment and opportunity in the areas of financial assistance, food security, and education. It gives people an opportunity to live a more connected life. No man is an island, takes a village. We all need to work together.
Now you can see why it's such a delight to do this show, because I'm surrounded constantly by very profound people doing really cool things. But we're going to try to get a little less obvious at this point. So each of you, and we'll start over here, can you tell us a little bit about maybe what your area or what you're aware of that NMCAA is doing to promote economic stability that maybe the public doesn't know about? Something, and Russ talked about things that are not so obvious. You don't have to give us scoops, any of you. We'll take scoops. But just something you'd like to share, maybe that the public isn't aware of.
I can go first. Speaking from our department, the financial empowerment sector, and I like how several people have already touched on the self-sufficiency aspect of what a lot of our work focuses on. In the Financial Empowerment Center, we're focused on that sustainability element. So the housing counselors who help people get out of the cycle of renting and into home ownership, which is a more stable situation for people, empowering them to do it themselves, do the work themselves, but do it with guidance and support and extra knowledge. And so a lot of our programs are centered around that.
For Meals on Wheels, when you think economically, number one, how difficult it is for many people to get out to a grocery store and to be able to get the food that they need. Also, just endurance-wise, how much time you might have to stand in the kitchen to really prepare a nutritious, well-balanced meal. So from that standpoint, for the personal economics of the individual, Meals on Wheels is a huge benefit. For our community, though, if you think about it, the cost of Meals on Wheels, we can feed an individual for a full year for less than what it costs to put them in the hospital for a day. So when you think about where they want to be, how they want to be around their family, how they want to be in their own homes versus in the hospital, it meets their needs as well as the needs of our community.
She said endurance. So sometimes when I'm doing a long meal, I can call that endurance training. Thank you. That's a good point.
That's a long time.
You may not be very much aware of our diaper program. We distribute diaper packs throughout the 10-county service area that we have. And in 2023, this was over 20,000 diaper packs. Now imagine the amount of money that you could save if you didn't have to buy diapers. And what a blessing that is to people who might be saving for their first home or need to spend that money on food for their food security. This year, I think we've had over 3,000 participants so far, and that's only partway through the year here. So.
I love that you bring up that program, Peachy, because it is very important. And, I've actually been lucky enough to participate in that program. I didn't know it was a part of NMCAA's program, and I went, Oh, wow.
You learn
I'm
a lot
surprised.
about NMCA on the show, don't
I
you?
do, all the time.
And you
But
meet people for the first time. Have you met anybody for the first time today already?
Not today.
Look at that. Look at you. See,
But I do love that we mentioned that program, and being a mom of young kids, we all know, I know Brittany knows as well, those diapers are expensive.
Well, besides our agency servicing our Head Start program and early Head Start program, the participants can share that with their other siblings or family members that need that same thing. And then they're distributed through the health department and baby pantries throughout the area.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it's also offered through some WIC programs as well, so that's great.
good acronym.
Yeah, a WIC.
And as well, some things that are going on that, again, maybe lesser known.
Well, when unfortunately, I have to go way back because I remember the director at the time was Bob Smith, and to the state level, he was asked if our agency would like to participate in a grassroots movement to coordinate food programs like pantries. And he came back and talked to us about it, and I said, yes, I'd be interested. So we started with 8 different pantries locally in the Grand Traverse area, and through the generosity of the agency has grown to more than 70 pantries, baby pantries and meal sites within our 6 counties. And that's along with the 2 USDA programs, TFAP and the Commodity Supplemental. So NMCAA has always looked at the basic needs of the client. You fulfill those needs and they're going to thrive. They're going to be self-sufficient. And that's just one area that they have done such a wonderful job with. So,
Yeah, that sustainability and setting up for success, profound.
Well, we're not inside the agency, obviously, so my perceptions are, I don't really know necessarily what is unknown by other people, but seeing it from the outside, I think the whole idea of self-sufficiency, you have to be able to start by being proactive and not in crisis mode at all times. And so I feel like the educational services, the information that's provided, just the general support for, especially I'd say parents and young parents is what we see a lot because a lot of our employees are parents, is just phenomenal, and it sets people's life on a course where they can actually achieve that self-sufficiency, which in my way of thinking means that leads to a better quality of life when you know you can take care of yourself and your family.
Yeah, the Head Start program really touches my heart because I've been a big brother from Big Brothers and Big Sisters for a long time, and it is amazing how the trajectory of a whole family can turn by one person being affected and saying, we can do this a different way. And that happens all the time.
Thank you for all of that. I want to point out one other thing that might be lesser known is the Laundry Project. And the Laundry Project is something that is run through our Financial Management Services Department. And they offer free laundry at 2 of our local laundromats for anybody who may need that service. And I think that's a really great thing for people who maybe your washer went out or maybe you just need that every time it's offered, and that's great too.
About feeling whole as a person, and all the little things matter.
Absolutely.
So when you look at, and Leslie said something that always surprises me, is like, you do that too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
NMCA, we've got you. And that is that feeling that's super underrated.
Yeah.
We've got you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and jump to our next question. With the topic being economic stability, and since this is a celebration of our 50th anniversary, what would you all like to celebrate here today on this segment in support of economic stability?
Ooh, wins. Are you talking about wins? Things to celebrate?
Yeah, absolutely. Some wins. You got any wins?
I would absolutely like to celebrate the kitchen at the Goodwill Kitchen, they're the ones that make all the meals. And I think I heard in a speech earlier, over 160,000 meals in a year. And this staff is for our county here locally, and then there's another kitchen in Wexford County. Both of those kitchens have the most amazing people in them that are fixing just wonderful meals. And as a driver and a deliverer of meals, I get to go into the people's homes and make sure they know how to cook, heat them up, and make sure they like the selections. And every time people are saying how delicious the meals are, how much they enjoy them, the lovely variety that they get. So I just absolutely want to celebrate those people as well as the rest of our drivers who deliver those meals to our folks.
Kudos to them.
There's on past episodes, my mind has been exploded so many times in how it's done and by so many people. And it's got to feel nice to be going into a home and being welcome and not being chastised for the green beans not being good.
I want to celebrate the free tax preparation program this year. This was the biggest year we ever had for free tax preparation. The program started almost 20 years ago with like a single person getting a tax return done. And this year we did almost 3,700 tax returns for free. And the majority of those tax returns are done by volunteers, people who say to themselves, I've got some free time. You know what I want to do with that free time? I want to get IRS trained and certified to prepare several hundred tax returns this year. And they do it well. And
you
they
make
do
it sound crazy.
They do such a good job. Not only are they good with numbers, but they're compassionate and kind and patient. And we've got a wonderful staff in the program too. And it was a really good year.
Thank you.
I'd like to celebrate the staff of the agency, the interconnectedness of all the departments, how they work together, and what a wonderful group of people it is to work with and become friends with, as well as the board members and the clients. You really get the feel of the group as a whole, the collective us.
Well, thank you.
That made my heart sing. Thanks for that.
What I'd like to celebrate, I'm just a small business guy at heart, and I think about small business owners all the time and the struggles that they go through. And right now, there's not a small business in any of the 10 counties that has enough employees, and they all need more employees. And sometimes you lose employees because of the things that are happening in their personal life. And if the agency can touch that life and straighten it out, it helps the families survive. It helps small businesses continue to grow. So it just does a lot for the employees when they have needs.
That's what I was going to say. but yeah, I mean, I really think the agency really is a huge piece of our economic stability strategy as a region, and we really need to continue to support it. All the pieces come together, and I was going to say I'd celebrate staff, I celebrate the volunteers, and all the people who are making that possible. It's a key component. It's a key component of what we need to have going on to achieve the kind of quality of life we want to have for future generations here.
It's really uplifting to hear, and you're probably tired of me. Employees, and it's really cool to see how people are being celebrated, and you may hear about it later, how employees of NMCAA are lifted up by NMCAA, whether through education or just personally. So that's all the feels there.
I just want to remember the weatherization program. This is the time of the year when we start thinking about turning up our thermostats, and I think we all take it for granted that you can turn up your heat and you'll be able to pay your bill at the end of the month. But if it wasn't for weatherization, many of those families either can't turn up their heat or have no heat, no propane. And by having a weatherization audit done on your home and find out where your leaks are, saving people money, that's another basic need. And I think we forget about the weatherization, but it is very, very important. And they do a great job with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Brittany, you talked a little bit. She was on episode 21.
Yes.
And a goal was set for number. Now, we talked about numbers. You've gone from 1 to 3,700. And you set a goal for this year. Do you want to talk a little bit about, goal setting, attainment, and where you stand at the goals?
Yes, yeah. So the goal this year was so the year before we did 3,200 tax returns. And then so the next year, our funders are like, how about let's do 5,100? And we're like, that's a big number, but we'll go for it. And we said yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So we still had the biggest tax season we've ever had to date, the 3,700. We put over $6 million back in the pockets of Northern Michigan people across the 10-county region. And it's a free tax return, so they don't have to pay $200 or $300 to get it done. They get to keep that extra bit of money in their pocket. And a lot of these people are seniors or fixed income or Social Security disability that didn't even know they could get money back on a state return.
So if you have questions, just ask.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you don't know, if you're unsure, because that $6 million back in the pockets is pretty compelling. So and again, this happens a lot. If you don't know, reach out to NMCAA, ask.
Exactly. We have people calling all the time saying, can I get money back? Here's my circumstance. And we say, yes, you should be filing. Yeah. You could be getting property tax or home heating credits. Yeah.
Right. Money left on the table. You don't want to do that.
Exactly.
Awesome. Do you know of any other programs that would like to give us a quick update on anything that's new or exciting? No?
Could we make something up and you can say yes or no?
Yeah, I'll make something up. No, I just want to commend Meals on Wheels and many of the programs here because going through COVID was a big challenge for many of us because so much of our programs involve outreach, face-to-face connection, support for our community and the people there. And so I'd invite other people to talk about how they might have adapted during COVID. But for Meals on Wheels, our practice had been that we would go every day and bring a hot meal to each of our customers. And with COVID, we needed to minimize the number of contacts that we had and try to protect them. So our kitchen, again, kudos to the kitchen, quickly shifted to creating frozen meals so that we could make one contact in a week and provide meals for the entire week for our folks. And we could leave them, knock on the door, make sure we heard them in there, leave it on the porch, back away, then they could get it. So we really were very, very cautious not to come into too close contact with our folks. At the end of COVID, we thought, well, should we go back to those hot meals? And because of that experience and many of our candidates, our clients being able to have both experiences, we asked them what they preferred. And most of them wanted to continue with the frozen meals, which turned out to be a great thing for them because then they could pick what they wanted to eat on a given day. They didn't have to eat what we brought that particular day. If they didn't need something that day, they had an extra meal for another day in the week. So it's turned out to be a really successful transition because of a really crappy situation.
Yeah, and that had, I think, all the opportunity to go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And possibly one of the keys is asking everybody, what would you like? I don't know how many organizations would necessarily do that. Maybe they just see what's most profitable or saves the most money. But having said and getting buy-in is super amazing.
It looks like maybe Peachy has something to say.
I just wanted to say intra-agency. In the last couple of years, I've seen a real increase in the amount of knowledge that is gained between the departments. We've gotten rid of the silos, and everybody's working so much better together. I have a client that was in the tax program, and the person that was working with her said, oh, gee, you're having trouble with your house? They were talking, and she said, yeah. So then she was able to take advantage of the weatherization program. So it's the flow between the different departments that's really increased in the last few years.
Silos. Is that relatable?
It is. It's a term.
Anybody's job?
I'm so happy to hear that because really it's been a big focus, I feel like, for everyone inside the agency trying to break down those silos and having us be one entity rather than separate departments. Right. That's great to hear.
Absolutely. I know going back to the COVID discussion, I think at one point I had told Ryan off mic that I believe every episode up until like episode 30 maybe, someone mentioned the pandemic or COVID, and it was how it had changed things in that program. And I thought that was so interesting and really, truly, all of the programs, because we were open that entire time. We never shut down. We continued helping people throughout that entire pandemic. All of those programs shifted, and it was overnight, right? So I'm sure, virtual workshops versus all in person for financial management, things of that nature.
What's
so I think
super
that's
cool
really
about
interesting.
that is that you had to do that and be innovative without all the resources and always all the support, but you're known to grind, but you had partners and board members who also flexed with you, and you had to have them along for the ride. So how you communicate and who you choose to partner with says a lot too. The company you keep, that kind of thing. So I think that's an even bigger effort to flex when so many people are in need. And the stress level that you have must be enormous, right? And that's maybe what motivates everybody. I'm not sure, but you have to look ahead, because what's going to be the next thing? What could be the next thing?
Yeah.
Well, when the board member mentioned about programs and getting information out, I immediately thought of the neighborhood meetings that were created quite a long time ago. And while I was still on staff, I attended those meetings. And since I've retired, I continue to go to those meetings because the knowledge that I gained while I worked didn't go away. And I thought, well, maybe I'd be helpful. But I've seen clients coming and going to those meetings, and the programs that are offered, information like weatherization, and they have speakers come in, they provide a meal, and that's something that a lot of people don't know about, and I think it's a real important piece of work that the agency does.
Well, we want to thank everybody for being here. We know that looking ahead, there's going to be another very successful 50 years, and we think about, we're celebrating 50 years here, but we need to look ahead, and I think NMCA is very thankful for the partnerships and for the people who have stepped on board, not only in the studio with us, but in the community with the people. So it's really extraordinary. Thank you so much for being panelists, and thank you so much for supporting NMCAA. And we get to now thank some sponsors.
Yes, thank you to Comfort Keepers. Also, New Leonard Media, who produces our podcast, and Peace, Love, and Little Donuts.
Mundo's Coffee, Golden Fowler Home Furnishings. We'll meet you right back here in 10 minutes.
Thanks so much.
Without further ado, I bring to you our hosts, Erica and Ryan, the Collective Us, an NMCA podcast, and our guests to the stage for housing stability.
Hey, thank you. Melissa, you're awesome. And I love that housing has fans in the audience. We walked out. Yeah, see, there they are.
Absolutely.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this.
Welcome to the Collective Us. If you weren't here for the first segment, I'm Erica Austin.
And I'm Ryan Buck.
And we are excited to be here again today, celebrating our 50th anniversary. Let's start this segment off. We're talking about housing, but let's start this segment off with an introduction of each of you, and just give us a quick 15 to 30 second statement about why you support NMCAA's mission. Whoever wants to go first.
Deeply pondering.
Hi, thanks for having me here. I am Tish Stave. I'm the Director of the Housing and Energy Efficiency Services Program at NMCAA. And I support the mission of NMCAA because I know that everyone that I work with supports the mission of NMCAA. And it just feels incredible every day to get up and go to work with people who care about what they do, who love what they do, and really are invested in improving the lives of their neighbors and community.
Hello, John Sullivan, Clerk Contracting Services. We are a weatherization contractor for NMCAA, and we support them by maintaining workforce to keep coming in and trying to help everyone that we possibly can make their houses more energy efficient and more comfortable to live in.
And how prescient. Weren't we just talking about weatherization moments ago?
Yeah.
Excellent. Hi, I'm Lindsay Walker. I represent the Emmett County contingency of Board of Directors, and I serve on the consumer end of things. I've been serving on the board for the past 12 years at NMCAA, so it's an honor and a privilege to be here. I am also walking in the legacy of our former board chair here at NMCAA, Les Atchison, who was a county commissioner in Emmett County for many decades, and as well as Lou Fantini, who was our at-large representative. Both of these gentlemen have walked on, and I spoke to both of their widows and invited them to come out today, but they couldn't. So just kind of honoring that legacy of leadership. And that is the reason that I believe in NMCAA, because I've seen its impact in my community in Emmett County. I believe in empowering individuals. I am a result of an empowered individual who has taken my commitment to NMCAA as a person who has benefited from that in the housing program and the IDA program, in the weatherization program, doing fundraising for the NMCAA weatherization program. That was my introduction to the organization. And so for me, I support this organization because I believe in empowering people, and I believe in relationship building, and that relationships and empowered communities are what's going to move this organization into the next 50 years.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Stimson. I'm the director of Homestretch Nonprofit Housing Corporation. I support NMCAA and their mission because they support Homestretch, and it's a symbiotic relationship between the two organizations and has been since '96 when we were incorporated. We always participated with NMCAA. Our clients, our tenants, our home buyers, they go through the classes at NMCAA. They benefit from financial literacy. And it's something that we've always subscribed to, that our tenants, we want to move up in the world. We don't want them to be renters. We want them to be homeowners if possible, and if that's what they want. So NMCAA provides that support. NMCAA also provides gap financing for our projects. If we need an additional 50 to 100,000, I always reach out to see if there's any funds available, and lo and behold, they have come through several times. So really grateful to have NMCAA in our community, and just love working with that organization.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm Ashley Halliday-Schman, and I am the director of the Northwest Michigan Coalition to End Homelessness. It's also kind of a full circle moment for me. I started my career in Traverse City at NMCAA many years ago, working 10 hours a week, trying at that time to end chronic homelessness and work with folks who are most vulnerable in our communities. And now we get to do that in a different way, right alongside NMCAA. And part of NMCAA's mission has always been kind of this continuum of support for folks from birth till seniors. And housing is a pillar of that. No matter where you are in life, housing is a human right. And NMCAA truly upholds that right alongside the coalition.
Thank you so much.
So we've established some expertise here. Housing, go housing. So Ashley, we'll start with you. Regarding Northwest Michigan, considering our audience today, why, and you touched on it a little bit, but we want some extra time because it's an important question. Why is housing important in our area?
Yeah, housing is critical for the strength of our communities as a whole. It's not acceptable to anyone, I think, that lives in this country that there are folks sleeping on our streets every night. For example, in Traverse City, we have around 80 to 100 folks sleeping outside every single night in our community. And that's just unacceptable. No one can truly thrive in our community until we have housing for all. It's housing, or it's in housing rather, when you can really start the foundation for the rest of your life and all of the things that kind of make a person whole. That stuff is really difficult to have happen until there's the foundation of housing.
Well said, thank you. John, speaking of foundations.
Yeah, well, to me, and I think to everybody else, but housing is everything. I mean, you have nothing in your life unless you have a home of which you can live and work from, to grow a family or not. I mean, you have to have a home, period. And you can have an address, but a P.O. box down the street and living in a park is not really a home. So the whole concept of home and home ownership, or just the concept of home itself, is so vitally important that I don't think we could thrive as a society without that degree of shelter that we all need. And I can honestly say that we do cater every once in a while to homeless individuals. It's not our mission per se, but we were approached with a veteran who had been living on the streets, and he wasn't able to find any place to live. He came to our organization, had a voucher, and asked if he could apply. And we took his application. We worked with his caseworker, and he was adamant that he had a 2-bedroom apartment. And I said, well, why in the hell would you need a 2-bedroom apartment? When you're coming off the street, you just need a shelter. You just need a roof over your head. And it came out in the conversation that he needed a housing, not just for himself, but so that he could get his daughter back living with him. And that was probably more important than anything else. So talk about home, talk about family. That is probably the epitome of it. And that was experienced in that exchange.
And so you're saying there's a lot to this as well. I mean, it's not just that. And obviously it's a big issue, but in hearing people, it is just more than that physical structure.
It is, but home can be a burden too. I mean, it can be a financial anchor. So there's a flip side to it. And our mission is to try to reduce the cost of housing, not just get them in housing, but to reduce the utility cost, make it energy efficient, make it affordable, because anybody spending more than 30% of their income is just subject to or slave to the landlord. And that then says it's a financial model for somebody else. That's not what we're about. And I don't think NMC ascribes to that either. So that's important to point out.
Wonderful. All right, on this side, housing, important for our area.
Well, I think just like Ashley and John said, I'm a sociology nerd, so I always think of Maslow's hierarchy of need, right? And your personal security, your safety is that bottom level. And if you don't have a home that you can feel safe in, that you feel secure in, that you have to, come back from work or wherever you are every day and settle down. If you don't have that, then you can't really achieve much else in your life. You have to have that basis to build that stability for yourself. So everything they said, and then what we do in our programs with home repair, with weatherization, is all the more important in this economy, because there are not options for people. We have such a low housing stock in this area and low affordable housing that we work every day to keep people safe, to keep people comfortable in their homes, and so they don't have to have, so they can self-actualize and they can achieve greater things in their lives.
Wonderful.
Yeah, basically everything Tish said is what I was going to say, so thanks for taking the microphone. But one of the things also is that I've noticed that a lot of the times just having a home helps the whole family, but then you also start taking more pride into your community and you start helping others. And, it snowballs down. And if there's somebody that's struggling and they can barely make their ends meet, they're not able to help anybody at all. And a lot of times we see people that are very grateful, thankful for everything that's happened, and they would like to pass that on down too. So if there is people that potentially don't qualify for the program, just need a little bit of bump, there's a lot of times that other people help them through there. So that's one of the things that we've noticed.
Yeah, needs being met. It's hard to, even if you want to care for a community, it's hard to do that if you can't take care of yourself, and you can't fault somebody for not doing more when they're just trying to take care of themselves.
Yeah, I love that perspective too. Thank you for that.
I think the importance of housing for me is at the fundamental base level as an individual. And once you have that stability in your housing, then you're able to give a little bit beyond yourself and your household. So then you expand out to your community. And then in an ideal situation, when we look at the economics of our respective counties, and if we're talking about a 10-county regional organization here, the collective us together is we can benefit from demonstrations of public and private partnerships throughout our regions of really good housing solutions. The complexity of these deals, the multi-stacking of like how these affordable workforce, affordable housing solutions in our communities come to fruition is demonstrated throughout the 10-county region. So in my area in Emmett, we live in a very tourist-based economy, like many of us in the 10-county region, and our housing stock is driven by luxury second homes and third homes. And so what does affordability look like to your community, and how does leadership and the multi-stacking of like local, philanthropic, state and federal funds come into play in that solution? So as an individual who benefited from the IDA program, I became a homeowner in 2015 because of IDA, because of NMCAA. I was able to save that money and buy a fixer-upper in Petoskey, and that real estate and those opportunities do not exist in my community right now. So how can I leverage the opportunities that I've benefited from for other further people in my community? Because to have the dream of home ownership is one thing, but even to have affordable rental housing in our area, the economics connected to the ability of my community, both county government and the city of Petoskey, to be able to attract and retain talent in our area is absolutely connected to housing. The ability to be able to provide workforce housing for workers in our downtown area is absolutely connected to housing. So I can see the forest for the trees now, and I want to be able to have the opportunity to be a local and state decision maker, to be able to facilitate, say like, I did this too, and I was able to realize the dream of home ownership and the stability that it created. And now I'm an elected official, and maybe I'll eventually be governor, because it's about being the change that you want to see in your community.
That's uplifting, because you have appreciation and perspective. It's not just about being just a human being, having humility, because I find so many people at NMCAA are really good people, and I mean that really good or really good either way. But to know that improvement can't come, outside of that without it being from within, and then taking it a step further and saying, I'm going to take my time, extra unpaid, and move that forward. And then John, somebody who is doing that and showing that in the community, and I met his daughter earlier, sharing that same example. So that's another thing, is people, all of you are examples to the young people in your life of giving. So cheers to that as well.
Yeah. Thank you also, Lindsay, for pointing out the interconnectedness, because not only, we're talking about these three different segments today, but housing is certainly connected to education and also to economic stability. So thanks for that. We know there are a lot of people in this community working to address housing issues. What is one thing that we'd like to celebrate today regarding the work being done in housing?
Some wins. This is the positive segment of the podcast. We just got real. Now we're going to talk about some wins, however we'd like to address them.
Go ahead.
Sure. So the coalition is made up of lots of different agencies and individuals all working to make sure homelessness becomes rare, brief, and one time. And that can mean a lot of different things. That means emergency shelter and outreach and rental assistance programs. But kind of the biggest win around housing is every year we're able, as a coalition, so NMCA is a huge part of that, to house over 200 people who were formerly homeless into permanent housing. And we do that every single year. And I don't think we celebrate that enough because our need is so visible and so dire. that it's hard to remember the wins. But over 200 people every year into permanent housing is incredible, and NMCA is a huge part of that.
That's an incredible number.
Yeah, that is something to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a win for, I guess, for Homestretch would be, because I'm speaking on behalf of Homestretch after all, is when I started my position 8 years ago, I went to the board and I said, we should have a goal, and our goal should be to double the inventory of rental units that we have under our portfolio every 2 years. And they looked at me and thought, but that's a pretty aggressive goal. And I said, well, when you think about it, we only have 13 apartments right now. So in 2 years, could we have 26? And in 3 years, could we have 52? And so on and so forth. So I'm happy to say that we've kind of met the goal. We're going to be at 60 units by the end of this year. And I think that's pretty good for just a small organization that's, trying to figure their way through this myriad of funding cycles. But that's a win.
Well, working in nonprofits, we talk a lot about a small step forward is still a big step forward. Sure. So that's huge, in my opinion.
So a win that we've had in our department, and it is kind of a good collective win with Homestretch this year. We at NMCAA completed our first multifamily weatherization program, and we're only the second agency in the state that has tackled a program this size. So we worked with John's group and weatherized a 3-building property, 24 units, and did some insulation, some air sealing, and hopefully those folks will have lower energy bills this year, and they'll be more comfortable. And we're already working on a second project up in Emmett County to hopefully hit on 48 more units, and really seen as a leader in the state in this realm. So that was super exciting.
And that's something that matters.
Absolutely.
Right? That you're able to stand out a little bit in this landscape because, and that's a great example. So is it a competitive landscape? Are others coming at you like, all right, we're gonna beat this?
And not so much because we get funding for the area that we're in, the geographic area, but we're being seen as leaders. We're being looked at as an agency to teach other agencies how to do this as well. Nice. So
I would like to make a comment about that weatherization, though, because it was poignant to our tenants. They have to agree to that weatherization, right? Mm-hmm. They have to come, you're going to have people coming into your unit and doing all these adjustments, and it's kind of invasive. And 4 of the units, or the tenants, said, we don't want this. We're not want part of this at all. And I thought, boy, that seems odd. You're going to get your utility bills lowered. And then I told her, Trish, we're not going to be able to do this project. And she said, John, did you tell them that their rent's not going to go up for 2 years if they sign on? And I said, oh, I didn't realize that. I forgot. So I told them, and lo and behold, every one of them signed up. I mean, it was just a small thing of utilities, like I said earlier, that makes a big difference. So it was a win for them for the fact that it didn't go up for 2 years. And now it's a win for the rest of the time that they're living there because their bills are going to be lower.
Yeah. And anybody who moves into those apartments after them as well.
True.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to wrap up with a question that's, I think, pretty poignant. Erica's going to ask. And, if you want takeaways, I think this is the time to listen.
Looking ahead into the next 50 years, regarding housing support and stability, what do you think the key to successful community action looks like in Northwest Michigan?
I'll start with that one. So we are celebrating today the 50th anniversary of NMCAA. This year is also my 50th birthday. So when I think about that organization and my fact that I've been involved with this organization for 12 years, but I'm standing on the shoulders of those leaders that came before me, and then I think about the next 50 years and what will that look like, and those young people are being born right now or have been born over the duration of the last 12 years that I've served on the board. So those at-large community members are out there in our communities right now. Those receivers or benefactors of Northern Michigan Community Action Agency's works in the 10-county area are out there in our community right now. And those future elected officials are in our community right now. And ideally for me, when I think about my tenure here, I'm from the benefactor sector, but I could easily move into the at-large sector or in the future as an elected official. And so who will I be bringing up behind me? Who will be replacing me in this role? So thinking about those folks and the empowerment of those individuals in our communities moving forward, that's what the next 50 years looks like, is you're thinking ahead. It's not about me and my ego and like the work that I'm doing. It's like, this is the collective us. And the collective us involves those next generations coming up and making a difference in their respective communities.
So I agree with everything Lindsay said. And happy birthday. That's so cool. Wow, 50 on 50. The key, I believe, to furthering housing issues and solving some of the crises that we have, and they are crises, in our communities, is everybody here. Everybody here putting pressure on your elected officials, talking to your counties, your townships, the state, up to the national level. This is important. Housing is important, and we want the funding. We want the people in place, we want the structures in place so that we can come up with solutions and keep doing the good work we're doing. So you are the key.
I would say one of the biggest things that we need to focus on everything is getting everybody back into the trades and putting down a lot of the, going to school and doing all of that. I've come up right through this. When I started off doing weatherization, I was the bottom barrel person putting insulation bags in. A couple years through, work up to a foreman role, bigger foreman role. About 5-6 years ago, we came over to work with NMCAA and then built it into a bigger thing. And now I've moved up a role into a general foreman for more of the commercial side too, and have been able to promote a kid that we brought in for weatherization into a foreman role. I've also been able to bring in my daughter. She'll be hopefully running it in 4 years, going through there. But we have to have the workers. We have to remember that, it comes down to being able to have skilled people into the trades and not being afraid to do it. Because no matter what happens, we always will need a house. You're always going to need somebody to fix your house, somebody to work on your house, no matter what. And if you can learn a bit of them trades too, you don't have to rely on somebody coming in that maybe will take advantage of you. You would be able to know exactly what's going on and go through there. So that's my biggest thing, is just trying to make sure that we are, bringing our children and up to
Built to last.
be workers.
Built to last.
Yeah. Repeat it for me. Something about the next 50 years.
Yeah, and looking ahead into the next 50 years regarding housing support and stability, what do you think the key to successful community action looks like in Northwest Michigan?
Thanks. I got lost in the awesome answers.
Yeah.
So definitely wanted to speak to what Tish said about engaging in your local communities. Local government has a huge impact on housing, all the way from zoning to funding to making housing really equitable for everyone. So that's what I hope is true in the next 50 years, that housing becomes more equitable. We're seeing that in our communities now. You can't really live and work in the same community right now. I think Lindsay spoke to that. So I hope that obviously we end homelessness, right? But that housing across the board becomes more equitable for everyone who lives here.
Thank you.
I would say more of the same for the next 50 years. Just keep it up, keep it going. But two things: keep the talent that you have and grow from that. It's really the organizational talent that's there that makes everything work, right? It's the people that are in that organization. I feel the same way for every business. We're not just companies. We are groups of people trying to do something, to affect something. I have that philosophy with my staff, and I'm just amazed at the incredible staff that NMCAA has. So I just more of the same, but it's the people behind the mission that really make the difference. And if you can keep that going, I think the next 50 years will be a piece of cake.
That is tremendous. I like that slice of cake a lot. And I see why housing has fans, because I've not met everybody, but I consider a lot of new friends here. And thank you for all of your action. Thank you for your partnership, and thank you for being here on our show today, on our first live episode, to discuss housing support and stability. And we're going to take our second intermission to thank some more of our sponsors.
Thank you to Grandview Catering in memory of Tricia Anderson, Blue Cross Complete,
Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Larson's Floral, and The Filling Station. And thanks to everybody here for hanging out with us. We're going to be back for our third and final segment in 10 minutes. Thank you all. Thanks you,
so
panelists.
Much.
Happy birthday, NMCAA.
Happy birthday, NMCAA.
Happy birthday. Happy anniversary, congratulations, and happy birthday. 50, woo!
Happy anniversary, NMCAA.
Happy anniversary to NMCAA, 50 years. It's incredible, half a century, and I'm so proud to be a part of it.
Congratulations to the Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency on 50 incredible years. At Precision Plumbing and Heating, we're proud to name NMCAA as our September 2024 Precision Cares winner. We are honored to partner with them to help families stay warm and safe by installing furnaces to those in need. Their mission of providing food, housing, and home comfort to our community is vital, and we see firsthand the care and the dedication that they bring to every project. We look forward to many more years of working together. NMCAA, congratulations again on this amazing milestone.
Happy 50th birthday, NMCAA.
Happy birthday to NMCAA for 50 years of service.
Happy anniversary, NMCAA. Here's to another 50 years.
Congratulations to the Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency on 50 years of service to our families, friends, and neighbors in Northwest Michigan. For decades, you have provided services and resources to countless Michiganders, young and old. From early Head Start to Meals on Wheels, homeless prevention, financial empowerment, affordable housing access, and economic development, you do it all. You drive change to strengthen our communities and help Michiganders achieve their full potential. Let us continue powering community action in Northwest Michigan for the next 50 years.
Happy birthday, NMCAA.
Happy birthday, NMCAA. Congratulations, 50 years.
Happy 50th to NMCAA. Job well done.
Years. Happy anniversary, NMCAA. Congratulations on 50 years.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, NMCAA. Happy birthday to you.
Hello, my name is Susan Eiffel, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer for NeighborWorks America. On behalf of the entire NeighborWorks family, I extend our warmest congratulations to Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency for 50 years of extraordinary service to your community. Your hard work and dedication have positively impacted countless of families, and we are honored to be your partner in building more resilient and connected communities. Cheers to many more years to come.
Happy birthday, NMCAA. Congratulations.
Happy 50th birthday, NMCAA.
Hi, my name is Russ Knopp, and I am the co-owner of Comfort Keepers here in Traverse City and in Petoskey. We are just here to say congratulations to Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency on celebrating its 50th anniversary. Hard to believe, for 50 years they've been spreading good across all of our communities here in Northwest Michigan. Congratulations, everybody, for all your hard work every day and for everything you do for the communities you serve here in Northern Michigan. Congratulations.
Happy anniversary, NMCAA, 50 years. Awesome.
Congratulations, NMCAA, for all your great support over all these years. Thank you.
Happy anniversary, NMCAA.
Happy 50th birthday, NMCAA. Thank you for all you do.
Hello, I'm State Senator John DeMoose. I just wanted to take a moment to say how grateful I am to the Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency for 50 years of service to Northwestern Lower Michigan. From Meals on Wheels to emergency home repairs, Your team makes such a difference and transforms lives throughout our region. Thank you for the legacy you have created, and I look forward to working closely with you in the years to come. Congratulations on 50 great years.
Happy birthday! Congrats, NMCAA, on 50 great years serving our community.
Happy anniversary, NMCAA. I'm so proud just to be a small little cog in this wheel, but it's a wonderful wheel. Thank you.
Happy 50th anniversary, NMCAA.
Happy anniversary and congratulations on 50 years, NMCAA.
Hello, I'm U.S. Senator Gary Peters, and I just want to say congratulations. Congratulations as you celebrate this important milestone for the Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency. For 50 years, you have brought about positive change in every community you serve, helping residents through their entire lifespan, from infants to senior citizens. Whether it's connecting families to important services, helping to keep people housed, or distributing food to those in need, time and time again, you have made your neighborhood stronger through your service. The work you do is absolutely essential, and it helps to make Northwest Michigan such a special place to live. So thank you for all of the important work that you do, and I look forward to seeing your organization continue to make a difference in the future. So again, congratulations and enjoy today's celebration.
Hey, congratulations on 50 years, NMCAA.
Happy anniversary, NMCAA. 50 years, that's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations, and I'm happy to be here.
Hello everyone, this is State Representative Betsy Kofia. I am so excited to make this video to say happy 50th birthday to the Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency. This is extra exciting for me because I used to work at NMCAA. I was a Head Start family services worker several years ago and got to work with folks right there at the NMCAA in Traverse City by the airport, and you all do so much critical work to serve our community, whether it's food boxes. I remember Val Stone always did such a wonderful job with the commodity food boxes, with housing and homelessness prevention, with weatherization, with helping folks plan their personal finances and tax preparation, Head Start and early Head Start, obviously, and so much more. But I'm so grateful to all of you for the incredibly important work you do to advocate for people in our community, and happy 50th anniversary.
Congratulations, NMCAA, on your 50-year anniversary.
Happy anniversary on 50 years.
Happy anniversary, NMCAA.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear NMCAA. Happy birthday to you.
Hi, my name is Stacy Parent, and I am so proud to say that I have worked for Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency for just over 24 years. I work under the Head Start program as a mental health and family engagement manager. I will say, when you work for this agency, you really are blessed. I have been enmeshed in a group of people that truly have become my family. We have watched our babies be born. We've watched grandbabies be born and gone through life's ups and downs. We are caring, kind, compassionate people, as we should be if we are serving our community to support families in positive change, positive steps forward in their journey to make their lives better. I am very proud to be a part of the mission of our agency and am so grateful. Happy anniversary, Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency. I love you and I love Head Start.
Happy 50th anniversary, NMCAA.
Happy 50th anniversary, NMCAA.
Congratulations, NMCAA.
Happy birthday, NMCAA.
Happy birthday, NMCAA. Happy birthday, NMCAA. Wishing you a happy birthday, BATA.
Without further ado, I am pleased to welcome our guests and hosts to the stage for the final segment of The Collective Us, a live NMCAA podcast to celebrate our 50 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa.
You know what, Erica? You are right. This feels just like the studio.
Just with
Just
a few
quaint,
more people.
comfortable. Everybody would agree. Well, welcome back to our third and final segment today. This is one that I know Erica's very, very passionate about, and I learn a ton about educational opportunities. So let's start with an introduction by each of our guests. And what you're going to do is introduce yourselves and briefly say 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Why do you support NMCAA's mission?
Hello there.
That works.
Hi, I'm Allison Popa. I am a HUD certified housing counselor with the Homeownership and Financial Empowerment Center. I really support the mission of NMCAA because of the compassion component and really taking that pause in understanding that you don't know the bigger picture of what someone's going through, and just the ability to take something off their plate and help them move on to the next thing to get out of their barrier or kind of level up in their housing situation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Drew O'Connor, and I am the Education Coach and Disabilities Manager for our preschool classrooms for Head Start and GSRP. And I support our mission on many different levels. There's so many pieces to our mission that is really important in the work that we do with children and families and the staff that are in our classrooms and for our home visitors. And the whole piece on improving the quality of life is really something that we all focus on many different levels in all the different roles that we have. And, we think about the children in our classrooms and giving them the life skills that they need and building their school readiness skills to be able to tackle that next educational experience that they have, and working with our families and helping to improve their quality of life at whatever stage they're at, and setting goals with them and truly believing them and letting them know that they can do this.
Hi. Hi. I'm Sam Getzinger. I'm a board member of NMCAA. And one of the reasons I support NMCAA, because in this divisive world, this is one place I can go where everybody actually works together for the good of all. That's pretty unique. So I feel very honored to be on the board. I'm also a retired kindergarten teacher, so I'm very proud of our Head Start programs, because I know the difference in children coming to school when they've had some preschool experience and when they haven't. So I know that Head Start is so critical, and I'm really hoping our funding always increases and we actually pay these teachers what they're actually worth. Thank you.
That doesn't hurt.
Thank you.
All right, my name is Chris Daniel. I'm a teacher over in Lake City. For Head Start, I support our mission by helping families and parents overcome the challenges of parenting and making it through those younger years with the children.
Good afternoon. I'm Yvonne Donahoe. I'm the Director of Early Childhood Services in Northwest Education Services. And it's such a pleasure to be here supporting and honoring such a fine organization in our Grand Traverse area. For me, the commitment that NMCAA has shown around connections and community building really is where I feel an easy connection and ability to support the way that they serve kids and families, build relationships with one another, with teachers in the classroom, and really extend that broadly into communities with stakeholders and others. They've been an ideal partner to work with over the many years.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Margie Rich, and I'm the Executive Director of Generations Ahead, an organization that supports teen parents and their babies. And I think what I most appreciate about NMCAA is their willingness to play well in the proverbial playground or sandbox. We're all here today talking about education, and I think they've been a great partner for us, always willing to step up and help in whatever way the community needs. And I think their willingness to serve the most vulnerable populations here is testament to where their heart is as an organization.
Thank you all.
That's exceptional. I wonder how many wonderful scholastic references we can make. Sandboxes come up. Playing well is another. We have so many nice, wonderful metaphors we can make today.
Yes. So let's jump right in. What kind of things are we doing in classrooms today? It could be our Head Start classrooms, GSRP, or any others. I know Northwest Ed has higher education than that. What are we doing in these classrooms today across the region to build our next generation as a strong community, bringing them in as a strong community?
Well, this is good. Last session we talked about educating the young and making little heroes into new, so well done.
All right. So the first thing we're working on right now is those social skills with those children. So that way when they grow up as adults, they're able to interact with each other so much smoother. Right now it's a little rocky, but the journey is long and they will get there.
Great.
I think we think about the classroom and what's happening with the 0 to 4-year-olds that are being served or 5-year-olds. But I think what's also equally important is what's happening with the parents and the modeling, the teaching of parents how to better interact with their children or best interact. And that's where sort of our relationship with the Early Head Start program comes in. And I just think the world of the teachers and how they support the parents so that they can become teachers and great parents.
Absolutely. We always say teachers our parents are their first teacher, right?
100%. So in our classrooms and on home visits, it really is helping the parents to understand that they are the number one educator of their child, and we want to come alongside and partner with them as much as possible. And we hope right from the beginning of the school year that we're sending that message when we meet with them for orientations or parent meetings and all of that, that this is a partnership and we want to make sure we are coming alongside them and giving them the skills and the knowledge that they need to be the best parent that they can be. So I think that that is one way that Head Start and GSRP really set themselves apart is, bringing that parent into that piece. But lots of different things are happening in the classroom. Like I said a little earlier, school readiness skills are being built to be able to help the child, whether they're in the home visiting program, the Early Head Start 0 to 3, or our preschool classrooms, that next educational setting, that they are ready for the challenges that come to them.
I love the conversation about parents and how they really are their best teachers and start at home. In the classroom, I think we're doing a lot of work around teaching that adults are safe, that the world is safe, regulating their own bodies, their own nervous systems to really be able to be those good learners ready to accept school readiness opportunities, right? Letters and numbers when that comes along. But that idea that we are safe and that we can help you is one of those great lessons that we can start with in the classroom as well.
Well, go ahead, please.
No, I don't have my own classroom, but my son did participate in GSRP. And one of the most amazing things I saw with that program was that they took his strengths and really nurtured it. They had an art show, and he was just one of the bigger artists in the classroom, and they actually had him make the sign for it. And I thought that was just fantastic because it just really played into all his strengths.
I think you may have said that before. Did he put that on his resume? Like early resume builder? That's well done.
One of the other things that goes on at Head Start that doesn't go on in public school is the amazing amount of teacher training. The teachers are being trained constantly and being observed by each other and helping each other so that the teachers and the aides all are helping each other be the best they can be with constant reinforcement. And that, I think, is really unique and a great strength of Head Start.
Yeah, I get my mind exploded a lot on the show about how many members of NMCAA staff, teachers are getting degrees, are getting further education.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Supported by NMCAA. That's bananas to me, that people put that kind of time, and that's money investment. That's not just, you can go do this online class. From what I'm hearing, we will financially support that. And think about what that does for an employee. And we talked about that, like being cared for is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We believe everyone is a lifelong learner. And so let's talk about the breadth of educational opportunities that are offered through NMCAA and our partners in the community. Anyone want to go first?
Yeah, let's uncover all of it. We've talked about GSRP,
Okay, how much time do we
Head Start.
have?
What are the things in the partnerships that we don't know about? We tried to get scoops earlier, but yeah, let's uncover some things. Let's share.
So in building staff's skills is really what we're focusing on right now. We have seen some changes in early childhood with staffing and different opportunities available to people and leaving and doing different jobs. And so we have quite a few new staff right now, and that is definitely a focus of ours, is how are we helping them to be the best that they can be. We partner with the state of Michigan through their TEACH program, which is a wonderful opportunity for staff to get the CDA, the Child Development Associate degree or certificate to start with. And then that leads into getting their associate's degree and bachelor's degree. And we've got Chris working on his master's degree over here. And it's just amazing the support that not only we can provide, but our partners that are both locally and at the state level and federal level, to be able to provide that. And then training is a big piece of our budget and what we're able to do too. And the many different training opportunities throughout the year, focusing on social emotional development, math development, literacy, all of those different pieces. And we partner very closely with the 4 different ISDs that we work with and tap into their professional development opportunities that are happening. So it really is a community working together to be able to build the skills where the teachers and the staff are ready to take their professional development.
Thank you.
So as Drew said about the master's program, I am one person that has been benefited from our agency. I started out in the factory many years ago. And because of the agency, they've helped me develop my skills, helped me through college, and I am here today as an example of that. So, thank you.
Yeah. I would say we'll call it bread and butter of NMCAA educational opportunities is in the homebuyer education workshop. It's available in person, Zoom, self-paced, and it's really just meant to show everybody in the community that number one, homeownership is within your reach, and number 2, you don't know what you don't know. And so please come to our workshop and have that discussion and find that out. One of my favorite things to do is just to teach somebody who is 2 weeks away from closing on their home, already done the work of getting credit approved. And that is just like where I thrive, in just taking that challenge and teaching them something they maybe didn't know about the process. What should you look like? What should your closing look like? What is the home ownership type going to be on your deed? How's your escrow going to change? And it's really just, it feels very fulfilling to be able to have somebody leave that workshop and have them learn something. Beyond that, though, we do have a money management workshop, also in all of those formats. And then we do have a foreclosure education, which it's meant to also just kind of lay it out for you and help you understand that, you could be exposed to scams. You could, you don't have to file for bankruptcy. There are options, and you still have rights as a consumer. And so we really lean on our educational opportunities to provide that like blanket education to anybody in their whatever housing situation they're in.
That's a good point. Like, I think a lot of people who end up towards you feel already beaten down by other things, and it's just like, it's worth making the call. Because just somebody saying, I got you, and yes, you have a course, They can give them a little pressure relief to get some other things done and then address that. But that's the consistency. Like sometimes I wake up and like night terrors in the middle of the night and I want to call an NMCAA and just be like, can you tell me I'm going to be okay? And I don't mean that flippantly, but anytime that we're in the studio talking to you and you say call, somebody's going to answer the phone. I'm usually looking at the person who's going to answer the phone. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
that's super remarkable, and that's proof here.
Yeah. And I just wanted to mention, Allison, thank you so much for pointing out the educational opportunities in other programs other than Head Start and GSRP. We certainly have that as a huge piece of NMCAA, but there are so many opportunities for adults to learn things as well. So I just wanted to make sure that that was a piece of this segment. So thank you for being here for that.
Wins.
Yes, wins.
Well, we talked a little bit about problems. So what are we celebrating? So quickly, there's been a lot of work done. Obviously, everybody's a hard worker at an NMCAA. So just really quickly, in the last year, what is successful? What are you celebrating?
Give us just a quick, like 3, 4, or 5 words. Couple wins.
Hundreds of kids and families getting free, high-quality early childhood experiences across the 10 counties.
A brand new program at Traverse City High School that serves the babies of the teen parents attending the high school.
That's a big one.
Everything they both just said.
Ditto.
They were taking it literally.
Yeah, I was going to say ditto. For sure, our classrooms are all open, home visitors are out there, huge success, and we just had a change of scope to be able to do some home visiting with 3 to 5-year-olds, huge success that we'll be seeing this upcoming year.
Being able to provide that unbiased housing advocacy for people in our community.
Thank you all so much.
I'm glad we get to talk about wins every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to all of our panelists here today to discuss educational opportunities. Before we end today's show, we need to call out our career milestone achievements. If you're a listener of the show regularly, we'd like to do this on every show.
One of my favorites.
But today,
favorite second.
Yeah, but today, as this is a live show, we're going to welcome to the stage our executive director, Carrie Bachman.
Carrie, are you here? I've been working on an impression of her in case she can't make it.
Maybe. Carrie, are you here?
I was lying about that impression. That's for theater. That's for comedy. Here she is. Once again, Carrie.
Thank you. Okay, so anyone who is an employee who has been with the organization for more than 25 years, we'd like you to invite you to come up on stage. And the same holds true for board members who have served on our board of directors for 10 years or more. So I think we're all here. Our theme today is that each of us is key to community action, and that couldn't be a truer statement to begin this next segment. It is time for us to recognize dedication and commitment at its highest level. And we would like to celebrate our longest serving employees and board members. These are the individuals who connect us to the history and provide the solid foundation from which we launch into the future. These are the people that we go to daily and we ask, why do we do things this way? Or how did we used to do this? They're the people that show up in the photos from past events and in countless annual reports. These are the people we lean on for so much, and we want to acknowledge them today and thank them for all they have done over the years to support the mission and the organization. So today, we are going to recognize employees who have been with Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency for 25 years or longer, and leaders of this organization who have served as a member of the board of the directors for 10 years or more. So I'm going to start by reading the names of the employees who have been here for 25 years or longer, and I'll ask you when I read your name if you can just sort of hold up your hand so we know who you are. And I'll also ask everybody to hold their applause, and when I finish reading the names, we'll give them a huge round for their work and tireless effort over the years. So in order of seniority, I'm going to start, I don't want to block you. I want to start with Chuck Friedel, 39 years. And Michelle Carnes, 37 years. Judy Evans, 34 years. Sherry Sliwa, 34 years. Sheila Nash, 33 years. Judy Abernathy, 32 years. Kim Altman, 32 years. Mary Hetty, 31 years. Kim Gearing, 29 years. Kim Norman, 29 years. Chris Welton, 29 years. Drew O'Connor, 29 years. Tammy Ristu, 28 years. Diane Scott, 27 years. Kathy Hubbard, 25 years. Abria Morrow, 25 years. Karen Emerson, 25 years. And Stacy Parent, 25 years. Let's give them a huge round of applause. And last but not least, I want to recognize Terry Schichtel at 34 years. She is on this list, and I just jumped right over you, Terry, but let's give a special round of applause for Terry Schichtel. Okay, and now to our board of directors. So these are volunteers who have guided and directed the work of this organization and have been serving in that role for more than 10 years. So I'd like to honor Tony Ansorgi, Grand Traverse County, Debbie Bishop, Kalkaska County, Mark Milburn, Roscommon County, Carolyn Peachy Rettenbach, Leelanau County, Lindsay Walker, Emmett County, and Reverend Gerald Cook from Charlevoix County. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Thank you for everything that you've done over the years. You are a part of the family. I think that we all feel as a part of this organization. And all of the good things that you've heard today and experienced are all in direct connection to the effort and the dedication of this group of people. So thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, Carrie. It's incredible to witness all these wonderful people here on stage and the true passion and collaboration that it takes and all the people that it takes to take care of all the people in our community and all of you at NMCAA. This is amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much. It's so inspirational to be just with all of you today. So thank you for being here. Before we wrap up, Carrie, we typically...
You're now a guest on the show, Carrie.
If you're a listener, you typically know that we like to end our show with a hard-hitting question, like we like to say. So today we thought we would end our final segment to the show if we asked you a quick question. Looking ahead into the next 50 years, what do you think the key to successful community action looks like in Northwest Michigan?
Well, I think a number of our guests on the podcast spoke to it, but I think it all comes down to people. It all comes down to relationships, and it all comes down to the belief that we have that we can come together and that we can make a difference, and that people are dedicated, like all these folks up here, to hold that idea in their heads and continue, even when there's pitfalls and there's challenges, to move forward. So again, it's the people and it's the relationships.
Thank you.
Oh, she's inspiring. Our first guest. Isn't that cool? Kind of full circle, 50th anniversary live guest.
Yes. Thank you so much, Carrie.
Thank you.
We'd also like to thank our top fundraisers for our 50 for 50 years this year. We did a fundraiser, and Michelle Maxwell and Michelle Nasser were our top fundraisers for that. So thank you so much to them. Once again, before we end the show, we'd like to thank our remaining sponsors. So thank you to Eleanor Ludke, Excel Office Furnishings, Precision Plumbing and Heating,
National Cherry Festival, and the Industrial Arts Institute.
We'd also like to thank the Dennos Museum and the Milliken Auditorium for allowing us all to come together today. If you feel so inclined and would like to become a sustaining donor with a recurring gift or contribute a one-time donation, please check out nmcaa.net/donate.
And if you enjoyed today's podcast, please share this episode or the show link on social media, or the socials, as the kids call it. Follow the podcast to know when a new episode drops, including this show. Rate the show. It truly does help us get the word out on all the good NMCAA does in our community.
And if you'd like to learn more about Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency or the programs that we offer, we encourage you to reach out at 231-947-3780 or visit our website at nmcaa.net. And to the collective today, we encourage you to continue to strive each day to do something to help yourself or your neighbors. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guests and board.
Thank you.